town of Raven Creek, Montana, had been abandoned for over 20 years. Officially, the government claimed a chemical leak forced everyone to leave, but locals told a different story. They said the town disappeared because something was living beneath it, something ancient, something hungry. In October 2025, 4 urban explorers decided to uncover the truth. Ethan Brooks, Mia Carter, Jake Wilson, and Sarah Reed. They ran a popular YouTube channel that investigated abandoned places. Millions watched their videos. But this trip would be different, because this time, the cameras wouldn't be the only things recording. The journey began with a strange radio signal. Late one night, Ethan was scanning old frequencies when he heard a voice. A woman's voice, weak, distorted, terrified. "Please, if anyone hears this, don't come here." Static filled the speaker. Then another sentence. "It's under the town." The signal vanished. The frequency was traced to Raven Creek, a town that hadn't existed on maps for decades. Naturally, they decided to investigate. 3 days later, they arrived. The road leading into Raven Creek was cracked and overgrown. Trees swallowed abandoned houses. Streetlights leaned at impossible angles. Everything looked frozen in time, as if the entire town had died overnight. Jake launched a drone. The live feed showed empty streets, empty buildings, empty playgrounds. Then, a figure appeared, standing in the middle of the road, motionless, watching the drone. The camera glitched. When the picture returned, the figure was gone. Everyone assumed it was a trick of the light. They continued deeper into town. That was their first mistake. As darkness fell, strange things began happening. Footsteps echoed through empty buildings. Whispers drifted between houses. Shadows moved where no one stood. At midnight, Sarah woke suddenly. Someone was outside their campsite, walking in circles. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The sound continued for nearly an hour. Too frightened to move, she remained inside her tent. When morning arrived, she finally looked outside. There were footprints, hundreds of them, circling the camp. But they all faced inward, as if dozens of people had spent the night staring at them. That evening, they discovered the town's church. Inside, everything was covered in dust, except one object, a journal. It belonged to Pastor Daniel Moore. The final entry was dated July 17, 2003. The handwriting shook violently. The voices come from below. They wear familiar faces. They call our names. If you hear them, do not answer. The next page contained only one sentence. It's already inside Sarah. Everyone laughed nervously. Coincidentally, Mia's middle name was Sarah. They assumed it was meaningless. But Sarah Reed didn't laugh, because she had been hearing whispers since arriving, whispers calling her name. That night, Sarah disappeared. One moment she was sleeping, the next, gone. The group searched frantically. They found her standing near an abandoned mine entrance, her back facing them, motionless. "Ethan," she whispered, "someone wants to meet us." She slowly turned around. Her eyes were completely black. Then she collapsed. When she woke later, she remembered nothing. Fear spread through the group. They wanted to leave, but their vehicles wouldn't start. Every battery was dead. Every phone stopped working. Every GPS displayed the same message. Signal found below. No one understood what it meant, until Jake discovered a tunnel beneath the mine. Ancient, massive, far older than the town itself. The walls were covered in symbols no one recognized. At the center stood a metal door, and behind it, a sound, a heartbeat, slow, heavy, impossible. Something enormous was alive down there. The deeper they traveled, the stranger reality became. Hallways shifted, passages changed direction, time itself seemed broken. Mia checked her watch. 3 minutes had passed. Ethan's watch showed 4 hours. Jake's showed 2 days. Then they found the chamber, a cavern larger than a stadium. In the center floated a black sphere, perfectly smooth, perfectly silent, surrounded by thousands of human skeletons. The moment Sarah looked at it, the sphere opened, like an eye, and every flashlight died. Darkness swallowed everything. Then the voices began. Hundreds, thousands, millions calling their names. The creature wasn't beneath the town. The town had been built above the creature. For centuries. The sphere was not an object. It was a prison. And something inside was waking up. Something that could mimic human thoughts, human memories, human faces. The abandoned town wasn't abandoned. The people had never left. They had been absorbed, consumed, added to the voices. Panic erupted. Jake ran. A mistake. The darkness caught him instantly. His scream echoed through the cavern, then stopped. A second later, Jake returned, smiling. But something was wrong. His movements weren't natural. His smile never changed. His eyes never blinked. "Don't be afraid," he said. "We're all together now." Ethan grabbed Mia and Sarah. They sprinted toward the exit. The tunnels twisted around them. Voices chased them. Footsteps followed. The walls themselves seemed alive. Finally, they reached the surface. The first sunlight of dawn appeared. Behind them, Raven Creek shook violently. Buildings collapsed. The ground cracked open, and the entire town began sinking into the earth, as if something below was pulling it down. Within minutes, Raven Creek disappeared, gone forever. Authorities later found Ethan and Mia wandering a highway, exhausted, terrified. Sarah was missing again. No trace was ever found. The government dismissed their story. Official reports blamed hallucinations, stress, exposure. Nothing more. But one mystery remained. The footage recovered from their cameras. The final video showed Ethan and Mia escaping, exactly as they described, except for one detail. A figure followed them the entire time, walking silently behind them, watching, smiling. It wasn't Jake. It wasn't Sarah. It wasn't anyone human. 6 months later, Ethan uploaded the footage online. Millions watched. Most believed it was fake, until viewers noticed something hidden in the audio. A whisper, extremely faint, repeated over and over the same sentence, a sentence that investigators still refuse to discuss. The whisper said, "The prison is open." And then, all over America, people started reporting the same radio signal. "Please, don't come here. It's under your town."